Hello, I'm Adrian, and today we're taking an in-depth look at the Batmobile from Batman vs Superman and the changes that have been made to it in Justice League. Before we even begin to analyze the changes, I'd just like to comment on how well designed the Batmobile from Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice was. Patrick Chotopoulos, the production designer, had a pretty tough job. He had to recreate the look of the iconic Batmobile and modernize it for new audiences. He did a remarkable job of incorporating both the old and the new into his new take on it. Most notably, the Dawn of Justice model seems to be a combination from Burton's gothic Batmobile and Nolan's much more rugged and realistic Batmobile, more frequently referred to as the Tumbler. Both had elements that are key to creating a great vehicle for a superhero. On Burton's side, we have a vehicle that is extremely visually appealing and features a very distinct look to it. It's shaped like a racing car, has an oversized exhaust port, and it has two distinct fins, without a doubt recalling the classic Batmobiles from the past as seen on this excellent graphic from Comic Book Resources. On Nolan's side, we have a vehicle that is more than anything built to be an effective all-terrain bulldozer. It may not be as visually appealing as Burton's, but it more than makes up for it from a utilitarian point of view. Giant oversized tires, a body that is shaped like a tank, fins that are extremely subdued, and it still features that oversized exhaust port. Now with that in mind, let's take a look at the Batmobile from Batman vs Superman. I will also note that I will occasionally be using pictures that I took of my Airhogs Batman vs Superman Batmobile, which was modeled to look exactly like the full-sized vehicle, and if you'd like to see it run in wide open terrain, you could click on the card above. The Dawn of Justice Batmobile is best described as a combination between these two previously discussed models of the Batmobile. It's shaped like a race car and has a very visually appealing design just like Burton's take, but it also features oversized wheels and is built very heavily in order for it to be able to drive through virtually anything, just like Nolan's take. It has a distinct pair of fins as well. Granted, they are much more subdued than the fins seen in Burton's design, but a little more noticeable than the ones seen in Nolan's. The windshield is also sleek and modernized. And of course, it features the oversized exhaust port. As an added extra touch, when the vehicle doors open, they are also meant to resemble bat wings. The biggest change by far that had not really been seen in previous Batmobiles is a non-retractable turret placed at the front of the vehicle, something that will be taken to the extreme in Justice League's version. If you're liking this video so far, make sure to subscribe and check out the playlist in the description. I got tons of other Batman videos on my channel and more on the way. As you may recall from Dawn of Justice, Superman totally wrecked Mr. Wayne's vehicle, ripping out the cockpit doors and also smashing it from the side by merely standing there. Now that Batman knows he will be facing parademons in Justice League, he has taken the same philosophy approach with his Batsuit of making it slightly more armored and taking that to the absolute extreme. The new Batmobile has now been outfitted with an obscene amount of guns. We've got turrets all over the place now. The one in front has become a missile launcher. There are two on the side, right above the front wheels, and another on the right side of the vehicle. A big change in Batman's repairs to the vehicle is how he has repaired one of the opening cockpit doors. Instead of replacing it with a new door, he instead turned it into an armored cage. You can clearly see it from this angle. Notice how the door is no longer as sleek as it used to be? It now has a distinctly armored look to it. Another change actually relates to the production designer's original intent with the vehicle. As you can see from these illustrations pulled from the Batman vs Superman tech manual, he wanted the Batmobile to be able to change to suit the terrain. In other words, if you notice, you'll see that the Batmobile can actually bend itself to lift its body off the ground. This is readily seen in the new Justice League Batmobile, where the car is at a higher angle off the ground. By the same token, the fins are also much higher up by the use of pistons that are not unlike those seen in the trunk of certain muscle cars like the Pontiac Firebird. Going off of this toy, which is modeled to look exactly like the Justice League Batmobile, Batman also swapped out the tires of the vehicle, as these new ones have much deeper grooves than the ones seen in the original design, adding to the all-terrain nature of this version of the vehicle. All in all, very much like the new Batsuit, I prefer the Batmobile seen in Dawn of Justice than the one in Justice League. Although it's pretty cool that he can tack on so many weapons to the vehicle, in doing so it loses a bit of its identity, and it starts to look a bit too much like a tank, and you could even say a little cluttered. The design isn't as sleek anymore, but it does seem very aggressive, and you could argue Batman needs all the guns he can get to face the parademons. In a way, this new Batmobile reminds me a lot of Arkham Knight's Batmobile, which could also switch into a full-on tank mode. They both share the aspect of how the vehicle can lift itself off the ground. As a bonus Easter egg, if you notice, the Batmobile has a very subtle bat-like figure engraved on its front. This was done on purpose, as the filmmakers didn't want the actual bat emblem on the car, but something that would hint at it. What do you think of the new Batmobile in Justice League? Which version do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe, and you can follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and brand new Facebook fan page, Godzillarex, to be notified when another new episode premieres. It would also be great if you could join my Patreon to get access to cool behind the scenes stuff and a bunch of other rewards. See you next time.